this is only a temporary fix. Just now, New Year's is coming up, Christmas is coming up. I have a family going towards bankruptcy, which we're only $7 trillion away from the definition of bankruptcy. And why is it going to take you 5 years to balance a budget?
Okay, let's say a couple things. First of all, I didn't call anybody racist. So here's what I will tell you. I don't believe that we should be dividing people, calling names of Hispanics, calling names and insulting Muslims who are moderate and are as outraged as all of us are about the attacks in California and in Paris. I don't think you should be insulting women and calling them names. And I don't think we ought to have databases on people, because all that does is divide the country. Okay? I don't care what the guy does, but we're not going to do well in this country if we continue to pull each other apart. We are stronger together than we are now. The purpose of trade laws is to lower barriers. The purpose of them is to lower barriers so that we can get our products into countries rather than they're having their stuff come in here and we can't have trade and fair access. And that's precisely what we've been able to get with these trade agreements. Now we have one up for consideration now, an Asian trade agreement. Now, if we turn it down, then countries that are in Asia who see things the way we do will say, what the heck is America? Because, you know, we have a competitive problem with China. I would rather have countries in Asia who we can trade with in an economy that is giant. And the number of U.S. jobs that depend on exports is very significant. So the idea that we shouldn't do trade agreements, we ought to pull down the blinds, we should keep people from coming in, all these things are not things that I happen to agree with. Now, I would say to you, it doesn't matter to me who people are for. I mean, I'd like everybody to be for me. If they're not for me, that's fine, okay? But I will tell you that the politics of division weaken our country. And I am opposed to the politics of division. I have all of my lifetime, and I will for the rest of my lifetime.
I think we have a lot of diverse viewpoints in here, and the governor is graciously offered to work the room. If you have a question, it could be a tough question for him. He's not afraid of it. But keep it short so we can get more people in. We've got 5 minutes.
How do you feel about congressional term limits?
I'm for opposing term limits, but we have term limits in Ohio. Not that great a deal. I mean, we do. Frankly, they're too short because now the staff has taken over too much of the decision making. But here's what I want to tell you. I'll tell you what I believe is a greater concern than all of that, and that's gerrymandering. Now here's how that works. We create safe Republican districts and safe Democrat districts. So when a Republican is trying to make a decision, they're always worried about somebody on their far right. Democrats are always worried about somebody on their far left. Senator, what it does is it drives people farther and farther apart and creates more angst and anger and more negativity between the two parties and even within the party. Look, I know everybody wants change. Do you know what it was like for me to spend 10 years of my life, even including fighting a Republican president to get to a balanced budget? Do you know what it was like for me to take over with a 20% of our general revenue fund in the hole and get ourselves to a surplus? Do you know how many special interests I had to fight in my lifetime to have success, to create jobs for people and balance budgets? You know how hard it is? You know how hard it is to reform the Pentagon when you're just expected to keep your mouth shut? It's not easy, but you know what? It's kind of easy for me because of my mother. She taught me to stand up and speak out, and I just have to tell you that the biggest problem that we have is not mechanical. We can do some mechanical things. I'm for term limits in Congress. Okay, I'm for that. Do you fix it? It's not, because you know what's going to fix it? Character. What's going to fix it is when people get elected to office and go and do their job, and then if they lose, so what? Solve problems. Stop fighting. Stop trying to posture yourself where you can't, you're just so worried about your own re-election, you forget the state or you forget the country. Okay? You can't do that. Senator, you're going to be supporting me before you know it, whether you like it or not, because I'm going to badger you into it. But so what I'm saying to you folks is, look, we have problems, of course we do. We got problems, and what we're going to do about this problem of encryption. Where these people are talking and we can't even hear them and they're plotting our doom. We got to fix it. But you know how you're going to fix it? You're going to get the president, you're going to get the technology companies, you're going to get the intelligence community, and you're going to look at it and you're going to fix it. And there is no excuse for not fixing it. Every problem we have can be fixed if you are creative and you set yourself free and you think about your children and your grandchildren. That's how it works. And so I'm for campaign finance reform, if you give me a good plan. I'm for term limits. But those are mechanical things. You know what really works? What is your name here? Reese. My daughter's name is Reese. How about that? Now, Reese is a congressman now. Okay, Reese, you really want to be a congressman? Okay, Reese, here's the thing. This is who are you here to serve? You here to serve the Republican Party of South Carolina? Or are you here to serve America? Now, Reese, here's the thing you got to realize. If we're not working together, it ain't going to work. And I've had these conversations with so many people over the course of my career. That doesn't mean we abandon our philosophy. It doesn't mean we abandon our party. It just means we got to realize the most important thing, that we're Americans first. We're South Carolinians first. We got to solve problems. You know what the world thinks when we don't solve problems? When they see us fighting all the time? You think that helps us with our foreign policy? It's like America, they can't even chew gum and walk at the same time. We'll fix it. I'm president, it's going to get fixed. I can promise you it's going to get fixed. Yes, sir, right here. That was a good way to end. That was all revved up there, wasn't it? Yes.
You had all the leaders here recently. They just met in France and they had the Paris climate talks and all that, and it seemed, I was kind of keeping track of all of that, it seemed like all of them were talking about like a carbon tax kind of thing. President Obama, he's got a big plan that he just came out with, dealing with clean power and all that. He's even added something in there talking about how the states can comply with his regulation by coming up with their own tax. So I'm just curious, what are your thoughts? Do you support something like that on a state or a federal level?
No, the answer is no. And when the president goes to Paris and says we can fight terrorists by dealing with climate change, that's just not how we're going to get it done. I mean, we're going to get this done by. I'm going to give one person the last word. One person. Nope. Nope. None of you. We're going right here. For you. What is your name? How old are you?
I'm 11.
Why are you not in school today?
I'm homeschooled.
Homeschooled. Okay. We'll be checking on you. We're going to make sure you get. How you doing at homeschool with this kid? You doing well? Yeah. Who's teaching you? Oh, your mom. And is your son too homeschooled? How's it going? It's a great movement in the country. The homeschool movement is fantastic. I have to go because I have to go and get an airplane.
I'm representing AARP.
Yeah.
Very active in the South Carolina AARP, and we're very concerned about Social Security. What is your view on Social Security? Look around the room. I'm guessing there's quite a few of us.
Yeah, okay, let me just tell you a couple things. First of all, I had a plan in '99 that would have fixed Social Security for 75 years, and nobody paid any attention to it, and they delayed. It's sort of like when you go to the doctor, and the doctor says, listen, you got to come back in here, we got to fix this, and you don't show up for 10 years. And then you show up and things are much worse. Of course, Social Security has to be made stable. Now, I've got programs that can, whether it's raising the retirement age, whether it's dealing with Social Security disability, whether it's changing your initial benefit, it'll extend the program. Here's the problem. We have a very quick, we're going to have a credit crunch. In 29, 30, in the decade of the 30s, 2030, it's going to be a very serious problem. I do not, at this point, know how to fix that, but I will develop a program to fix it. We can extend the life of it. But think of it this way, you do a credit deal where you try to consolidate all your debts with the bank, okay, you do that, but you know that, and they say, okay, good, in the long haul you're okay, but in the short term, you're going to have to pay these charges. Right now, we don't know how to do it. So we're going to have to figure it out and fix it, because if we don't figure it out and we don't fix it, then our seniors are going to get hammered, and that's not acceptable, and we will not let that happen. So I want to thank our young homeschoolers for coming. Is the word for me. I believe very strongly in charter schools, in vouchers, and the ability for people to be able to educate their children